Welcome back to The Trade. I'm Gina.
This is Drew.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing to our YouTube and leaving reviews on our Apple Podcasts and leaving comments on our videos and on our Instagram. We really appreciate you guys. It means a lot. I love the feedback.
I really, really love the comments, and I really love seeing the hashtag banana cats. It's like one of my favorite things.
The feedback helps us know what we're doing right and what we're doing wrong and what we should maybe change up and maybe what we should keep. And it's really helpful. I just want to thank you guys, and make sure to check out the links below. Go to our Instagram, maybe go to the Family Watchdogs website, put in your address and see, what predators live around you. That's very important. And I'm going to start putting that in every description in our videos because I want everybody to go do that.
It's free. Sure. It's awesome. It's well worth your time. It's going to freak you out a little bit because there's a bunch around you. I guarantee it. If you don't, you're very lucky.
So I just want to get into this episode. I'm excited.
I know you've been obsessed with this.
Yeah. So as you can see in the title, this episode is about MCKAMEY Manor. And I'm sure you've heard about it because they are going viral. They're in like every news article that you can think of right now and news station, and everybody's just talking about them. Title is you can win $20,000 like if you beat the haunt, beat MCKAMEY Manor. So what do you think about it, Drew? I know I kind of sent you some links, and before I start getting into it, let's hear your opinion.
I think as long as what he's doing is actually legal, I think he should be able to do it. But I think the entire thing is absolutely mad, and the fact that you would potentially give yourself PTSD is like the minimum because you could die. The waiver, Gina, she's read but more of it than I have.
And I'm gonna read some things off here soon too.
We'll link some stuff in the description. I've got some other videos that I found that like you don't have to watch what actually goes on. It's just more of a description, and like because it's like think Saw, Hostel, but like in the most legal way possible. Like that's how I would describe it.
Yeah, adding a lot more, I think.
Oh yeah. But like that's like the most simplest explanation I could explain it. Like imagine being in the movie Saw and it being legal where no one's died yet, but you could die.
Yeah, and something that I want to point out is if you look up MCKAMEY Manor on YouTube, you are going to get the original YouTube first. And those videos are from 2 years ago. And that was when he was doing the haunt in California and San Diego. And now he's doing it in Tennessee. And things have changed between now and then. So if you go to their second YouTube channel and look up their most current YouTube videos, and if also you go to their secret group on Facebook, just type in MCKAMEY Manor, it'll all pop up. And you can see how things have changed. They do live streams and stuff like that in the group, and you can see everything that goes on currently and the people's live streams of the ones that are going to be going in there to do it even. So it's very knowledgeable and you learn a lot. And when I was watching those movies, I was like just oddly fascinated by all of it. And I was like, like torn feelings. Like this is awesome. In a weird way, it's awesome. Like, who's doing this? That's what makes it kind of like cool, intriguing, interesting. But then you start like when you hear about it, and then you start watching it, and you're just like, what am I watching? How is this okay? How is this on YouTube? And then you find out there's Netflix videos on it. And so I went and checked out those, and those were very interesting as well. And I learned a lot. And I learned that I would never want to do it, but I also I would if certain things didn't happen. I would totally do it. If I was able to say, I don't want this and this and this to happen, but the rest I guess is okay.
So the waiver that is leaked out, because I read portions of it, I found a PDF, is an old waiver, but the stuff that is in it, there are so many things that like I was like the tap out there, tap out there, tap out there. I'm done. Like I'm not. Nope. Because like the one of them
Yeah.
was like impaled with a nail through your hand is like one of them.
Yeah. And they're able to pull your teeth and shave your head. Participant fully understands and agrees that their tour may include the use of hypodermic needles, zappers, tasers, or dog shot collars. Yeah, participant fully understands and agrees that being scared, having a panic attack, etc., does not count as a serious injury.
Oh, that's something else we should bring up too. Is so this is the only haunt it may be in the world, but I know in North America that you actually have to get a doctor's note, a psychological evaluation, some type of physical, and I believe you have to have a drug screening as well too.
Yep,
Um,
you do. He's against drugs, yet he will shoot you up. I saw the video. Oh, he either did or he still does. I'm not sure if he still does it, but would shoot them up. What was it with?
we were thinking it was ketamine, but I'm not even
Is it these
100%.
hypro?
The hypodermic needles is that would be
Yeah.
that would be those, but like I don't know what he was I couldn't find exact listings of what they were injecting people with.
To it helps him. He mentioned helps him with the MK Ultra to doing that on them, and I just thought it was very interesting. I was just like, ouch for one, because I watched him do it in her mouth, and then
I wonder if it's
yeah,
just saline. I wonder if it's just saline solution, and just because you can inject that into like little amounts in, and it might be something like that.
it makes him hip like hallucinate,
It does. It
and
does. That is actually what it probably is, ketamine or something like that.
I just wonder how he gets it.
I don't know how he was, because I remember people talking about that when it was in Southern California, and I never understood how he was doing it then there. But the waiver, I guess, allows you to do it. I don't. That's weird.
Yeah. They're signing off on it, so everything is okay. And I was also watching some videos that were not 2 years ago, and he is pretty much having them do it to themselves. So that is another way that he's not even touching them. He's able to just tell them
So that's what I mean. It's
pretty
exactly
much
like
what to
Saw.
do.
It's like some Saw shit. It's like do this or fucking. His
or
name's
yeah,
Russ. His name's Russ.
yeah,
He's
Russ
he's
McKamey.
he's. If you ask me, I mean, granted, I know it's a character, but like even his normal interviews, he's kind of creepy.
I would love to have him on the podcast. And if you listen to this, Russ, I would love to have you on the
Oh,
podcast and
I'll
pick
love to
your
talk to you, but
brain.
you scare the shit out of me, bro. Fucking.
I'd love to pick your brain. We both would. And yeah, we're very no. I got nothing negative to say other than I do think it's crazy, and I just
I think he's 100 within his bounds. If he's legally allowed to do that and people willfully sign up, I have nothing against it. Like I just think it's just crazy that somebody like if people are that interested, go watch these videos. They're horrible. Like
yeah.
cuz he has like a 2-hour clip of like when they quit because nobody's beat the hunt. That's how terrible it is. And
Nobody's been close to beating it. Yeah.
oh, no one's even been relatively close.
No. No. There's a lot of people who don't even make it out of the very first part, which is just like the ride in the van to the haunt, to the
Oh yeah, because
destination
don't
to
they
do
like
it.
kidnap you like type situation?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, that's
Kind of. Yeah, they kind of play that out. Well, they did. Now it's different. And now he doesn't have all those actors and stuff. Sometimes it's just him doing it.
and didn't he? I believe originally he had a group of people, and some of them were teens working with him at one point too. And now he doesn't have any minors working with them at the haunt.
Correct. In California, when he had the haunt in San Diego, which there's a lot of rumors going around that he got chased off out of California, nobody wanted him there, yada yada yada. Um, but from my understanding, that's not the case. What happened was with the minor situation, which has nothing to do why he left California or anything. Um, there was some children working in the haunt, and my understanding is, you know, that's a great marketing tool to have kids working in your haunt if you want to attract other kids. And also you are introducing them to horror and things that, like I grew up watching Frankenstein, and stuff like that, and those are just
Do
some.
you guys in your area for Halloween have a local haunted house, like a regular, if not like a messed up one?
Yes.
And
Yeah,
that,
we have a few.
yeah, and they always had like I never worked one, but I had buddies that did, and we would go to them. It's the same idea. It's the exact same marketing idea.
Yeah, and when he started in California, it wasn't like what you see on YouTube yet. That came after. And it was just a haunted house that these kids were working in. And sometimes one thing that you could be worried of is if an adult gets scared and they punch, and they hit, and a kid accidentally gets hit in the face, which if you watch the Netflix, there was that incident where one of they interview him, the guy who hit the little girl in the face on accident, and he was like crying in his interview because he still feels bad about it to this day. But there was someone, and one of the Russ's actors was working there and was flirting with the minor, giving her drugs. They were doing things inside of the haunt that they shouldn't have been doing, and it was just a bad situation. Russ and his, I'm pretty sure, wife at the time found out about it and got rid of him immediately, and no more kids. She was 17 and he was older, and no more kids were allowed to work in the haunt after that. And then later on, if I have my timeline correct, later on is when it escalated to what it is now, or not now, but what it was 2 years ago on their YouTube channel, where it pretty much looks like torture, but they are they're signing their life away pretty much. So it's not torture because they want it. I wouldn't call that torture if they want it, right?
Yeah, it's such a fine line because if you watch those videos, I don't know how you describe any of it not torture. I mean, if you had to describe that to somebody, you'd be like, well, this is a mock torture, like wherever way you like
Yeah.
you go
Yeah,
around it,
right.
but it's pretty damn close. Like the quitting videos makes you really realize how messed up these
Yeah,
people are.
anybody that watches it, you'll say this is torture, right? But just know when you're watching it, everyone that's doing it is totally okay with it. And if you don't watch the other videos that explain that they have safe words and what the safe words mean, and which we can get into that as well, and sometimes the safe words don't mean anything, and it's even in the waiver that until Russ says you're done, then you're done. And if you use a safe word and Russ doesn't think that you're done, you're not done yet. And you sign that off. You're signing off that you want to be challenged, that you want to go through these experiences, and you want to be mentally and physically challenged in all aspects. And he's giving you that. But he gave that to them, in my mind, in a really rough, dangerous manner. I guess then you'd have bruises, you'd have tears maybe in your lip from the fish hook and stuff like that. But now he says that nobody leaves with bruises and stuff like that. If you do, it's not from him. It's he doesn't rough them up or anything like that, like in those videos from 2 years ago.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
when you go watch, just keep that in mind, that things have changed, and that was just a crazy time.
Well, and the other thing too, if you're really interested, try and dig and see. Like, he doesn't have lawsuits against him. If he really was doing
No.
stuff, I feel like there would have been. I'm sure he's been investigated a
People
bunch of
have
times.
tried. People have tried. And also, to answer why he left California and went to Tennessee. So he had someone doing his taxes and they were not paying the taxes, I guess. So it racked up, right? And he had to pay it. So from my understanding is he paid it and he left.
Well, taxes in California are nuts. I can tell you that straight up. They're absolutely insane. It's what's crushing the state, and a bunch of businesses have left. I know plenty of people that have had good businesses here, but it was just better off to move to another state.
Yeah, and I've watched some of his videos where he calls out his haters. He does. He's got videos on his YouTube just for his haters who have been through the haunt and come out and make hate videos, what he says are hate videos, or exposing videos or whatever. You can look him up, and he he shows the footage of them going through the whole process. So when they come out and they're saying, Russ did this, Russ did that, Russ didn't do this, his actors did this, he has it all on camera. He records everything from you signing the waiver, being asked questions throughout the waiver. He talks to you prior for weeks to months at a time. You have to go through a whole process before you're even qualified to go through the manor. And even then, once you step foot there with him, everything's recorded beginning to end. So if you try to get cops to come to him, he can just give them the tape. Just say, here, everything's recorded, and they can make up their mind, and nothing has happened yet.
And a bunch of people
So,
have gone through. It's like,
yeah.
I think it's pretty
And
legit. I think he might. I don't even think the guy's. I think everything you see on camera is a character because he's playing off the whole thing. He's probably a pretty cool guy.
when you
Um,
watch his live videos, which you can watch them in the secret group, you get accepted pretty fast by just answering the questions. Or you can go to his personal Facebook, Russ Mckamey, and he goes live, and you can just tell. Like, people will say, "Oh, you're narcissistic, you're evil, you're sick, you're twisted, sadistic, whatever." And what I see is what you just said as a character, and because the way that he says things, and something specifically that he said after his story on McKamey Manor just recently went viral and has been on like every news station. He was live just the other day, and he said, "Everybody loves a good story." And he said, and he was naming off some things that people have said and that he's heard. And he said, "Oh, people are saying that? Like, people are saying that someone has like died here." He goes, "That's funny. You guys should keep saying that. That makes for a good story." And it makes you know he's a character and that he is just eating all this up. And he's like, "Go ahead, say those crazy comments, and go ahead and think what you want. Go ahead and think that
yeah,
this
because it
is
all
that."
adds to the mystique of the whole thing. I mean, like,
And
the
that's what he
instant,
loves.
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, free advertisement for him, basically.
When you watch the Netflix episodes, it's pretty much saying that. It adds a lot of mysterious aspects to it.
The thing is, it's not really when you really break it down. It's just a haunted house, just turned up to a whole nother level, to the most real level without being illegal. I guess that's the best way to put it.
And just like any other community, there is a horror community, there's a haunt community, there is a community that's based around people that are intrigued by and relate to all the same things like this, and they revolve their time around Halloween to their haunts and stuff like that, right? And there is drama within that community, just like any other, I guess, community that like you come across. There's got to be some kind of drama, unfortunately. But they don't really like Russ, and could it be jealousy because maybe they didn't come up with that, or could it be because they're truly against it and they think that it's just wrong, or a little bit of both?
It's probably a
But
little bit of both.
yeah, until you fully understand probably what's going on, and then it would turn into just full jealousy, because in my opinion it's not as dangerous as people are making it out to be.
I see. That's where I think a little bit of disagree with you on there. I think it's dangerous, but I think there's a lot of things adults do, like skydiving, race car driving. Just there's a ton of lists of things people do that you sign up that know are dangerous, and you
It's
should be able.
dangerous, but it's just not like
Oh, I think it's psychologically pretty dangerous. I think there's definitely going
like
to
when
be.
you get in a car, you got a 50-50 chance of that car crashing or someone crashing into you. Don't you? Like, and so when you go into this
Yeah, but
haunt,
that's
what
not.
is your chance of dying?
Yeah, that's kind of like
And Russ
skewing
McKamey
it.
hasn't killed anybody. He hasn't killed
But you could
anyone.
argue that with. I mean, that's almost like how, like, not to go there, but like we're totally going there. Like when predators get caught, they're like, well, there wasn't actually a victim. You know what I mean? It's like, well, there's psychological damage there for sure. Fucking no matter.
Okay, but nobody's signing a waiver to meet up with a predator.
That's very
So,
true. No, no, I agree with you on that. I agree with you on that. But also at the same time, you sign a waiver every time you go to a racetrack, to a race event, and race into it. You could die.
yeah, and the racetrack doesn't want that on them. I don't
I
blame
don't,
them.
but the reality of death is real, and to deny that you could even get PTSD from a wreck. I mean,
Right, but how many people have gone to the racetrack and died, and how many people have gone to McCamey Manor and died?
a lot of people don't die at racetracks anymore.
But there's a number. There's no number at McCamey Manor.
Yeah, yet. I mean, there's a reason why he's got his fucking waiver. If one of these times someone's gonna go there and just have a heart attack, that's what I believe is what's gonna happen. And it's gonna just thank God he had that waiver, because
That's why he, yeah, that's why he like has
I
doctor's
wish
notes.
the thing I
And
think
he,
the big question, I think if you really wanted to answer that question, you would have to wait. They would have to start doing data, like keeping up with people that have gone through the manor, and then see if there's like a long-standing psychological impact from those experiences.
well, with Russ changing things, and when you watch, if you watch more of his videos, during them, you it shows that he's experienced things and that he's learned as he went, just like we all do, you know. So he's changed things. Like he would put these ear plugs in people's ears, and then he would tape their head, right? And in one of the girls' ears, which it was bound, anything could happen, right? She signed off on it. It ruptured an eardrum because it, like, during everything,
It
or
went in too
it
far.
got pushed too far. So a doctor had to remove it, and it ruptured like an eardrum or something like that. So he learned not to do that. And he doesn't want to hurt them. So he doesn't do that anymore. He doesn't put the earplugs and tape their head like that anymore.
Yeah, the interviews I've seen with him, I've only watched a couple. He just when he, people like they're like, "What about people's accusation of this?" And he's like, does the same thing. He's like, "Oh yeah, I love that one. I love that." Like it's just like he's like eating it up, but he doesn't. I get it's a character. I don't think he's a bad dude. It's I don't. I think if you sign up for it, you get exactly what you signed up for. I mean, I don't really have sympathy for the people, but I do think there could be long-standing psychological impacts from going through it. But you signed up for them, just like boxing or anything like that. Even if you got into like amateur boxing, you could have long.
Exactly. And you can die in boxing.
Fuck yeah, you can. Any of
And
those
if you
type of
die,
contact
the
sports.
person's not in trouble for it if you die. You signed off on that.
Yeah, no, that's exactly. I mean, I'm not.
Um,
I'm
right
not
here,
against it.
yeah, yeah. Right here it says participant fully understands and agrees that MK Ultra mind control may be used. What are your thoughts on that?
Whenever I hear anybody talk about MK Ultra, okay, it was a real program, but generally that's like one of those.
Russ says that because he was in the Navy, I do believe. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments if you know. I'm pretty sure he was in the
Yeah,
Navy.
it's 20 years in the Navy. I just watched something like that.
Okay, cool.
It was like something like 20 years in the Navy. Or
Yeah, and he experienced MK Ultra while in the Navy, doing experiments on people similar, etc. And so he says that bringing it to the haunt, he knows what he's doing, you know. And to me, it's interesting. Like, would if you were going into that, is that something that you would want to experience?
what, the MK Ultra stuff?
Yeah.
Well, this is me being Drew right now. If I hear somebody who's already known as a character, who's already playing into all the other marketing things, why not play into the conspiracy theory fucking market? And MK Ultra is just rampant with that. So
Yeah.
I feel like, to me, I think he's using his military career. He may have actually been part of a program or something like that. To me, I feel like he's using it more as a marketing ploy than actually knowing.
So, say that wasn't your opinion and say you were about to go into this, would you want to experience that?
No, no, no,
No.
no, no,
No.
no, no, because like those projects, the real MK Ultra ones, did not. I mean, they weren't good experiments. Like fucking.
It
Like,
doesn't look good when you watch the years from two or the video, sorry, excuse me, the videos from 2 years ago. It
yeah,
doesn't look fun at
I
all.
I don't like any of that, because there was. I was reading something else where someone was doing like another one of the mind control things at the manor, and they experienced like nausea, and then like semi portions of psychosis or something like that from it. and like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to do any of it. The weird thing is I would want to work there.
You would?
Yeah, yeah,
What why?
because it
You had
fascinates
me
me.
all
Like, it fascinates me how he's able to spin so much craziness around it and actually it be this legit business. So there actually has to be like there's some magic going on there, and I would like to know like how he's doing it. You know what I mean? Like if you could figure out what he's doing. Like I
So
not to like
you
steal his business, but I would definitely like if you were like offered a chance, like if he came on and he was like, "Come work the manor for a day," yeah, I'd go do it for sure. If I didn't have to experience it, yeah.
so how would it make you feel seeing people experience some of the things you know they go through now? Like you'd be standing there watching that, you know? Like you would be
That's a good
okay?
question. I don't know. I don't know. I can't even watch the videos without like chain smoking, fucking. So I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know how involved I would really want to be. That's I might take that back. That is true.
It's deep. It's really deep because when maybe the thing isn't what Russ does, but the thing is what the people get to a certain point where they are just done and breaking and emotionally broken, physically broken. They just can't go no more. And I'm an empath. So if I was in that, if I had the, okay, I'm like you. If I had the opportunity, yes, I would go check out McKamey Manor. Without doing it, I would want to experience it. I would want to scare people. It would be freaking fun. But getting to the point where towards the end of maybe their haunt where they're just like about to break down, I'd probably like I
Oh,
would
you
want to
might
break
cry?
down with them.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
might cry too.
I'd
But
want to break down with them, but you'd have to be strong. I mean, you're in McCamey Manor. Like you can't run
see,
away. Like
you're
you
thinking
can't
like
cry.
me and you. I think are like. See, I was thinking like, oh, go work there. I'm like, I want to know like what the maintenance on this place is. Like, what do you got to do? Like, fucking like, what's the cleanup process after someone's done with the haunt? Like, that's like what I want to know. Like, how do you
That is
keep?
yeah.
I know it's
How
really
to keep things
dorky, but it's
clean.
like that's like part of
That's
it.
a
Like,
good question that I actually see a lot is how, do you keep things clean? Things like that. Like how do you keep things clean? Which is good. It would be, yeah, great to see all of the whole process behind everything. And nobody makes it very far. From what I've gathered. So what they're going to do is they're going to open a haunt that is where you can make it through. And
oh,
he's
one that's not a dare for the 20 grand or whatever.
yeah, you can't get money for it, and everybody can make it through. So it's probably more of
I wouldn't
like
even do that. Russ
you
scares.
wouldn't.
No,
I
no,
would.
no,
I would.
no.
I would do it. I would do that. I would sign the waiver too and do all that too, as long as like I'm not gonna say what I wouldn't want to do because I feel like even if you say what you wouldn't want to do, like
That's what
this is
they're.
my this is what that's what they do. Yeah, my thought process behind it. Russ, if you're listening, I want to know if I'm right or wrong. Um,
He's not gonna tell you.
yeah, I know you won't, but I want to know so bad. I think I think it's just common sense though. If you watch the videos, you know that everyone that wants to do it, he puts you through a process like I said. In the very beginning, he becomes your friend and he gets to know you and
He
he's on your
seems very
Facebook.
personable.
Yeah, he's on your Facebook. He's on your whatever social media you have. He has you do videos. He has you answer interview questions on video. It's called homework. It's what you have to do on your own and you send it to him and he's learning who you are in order to be able to scare you and put you through the most emotional physical things that you've ever been through. And so what he's doing is just being your friend, getting to know all these things, your fears, your goals, your ambitions, everything, and he's just putting things in front of you that are relatable and putting you in
Has
situations
he
that
ever?
are
Has he ever talked about? Has he like
relatable.
continued
And
friendships?
oh yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely. There's a lot. There's actually a woman who is about to do her third time through. And she's been around since San Diego, I'm pretty sure he said, since California. So she's been around since the beginning. And there's a lot like that as well. There's a lot of people that are diehard McKamey Manor fans, for sure, that have been around since the beginning and yeah, and definitely
Crazy.
just love Russ. But yeah, he just tries to be your friend, and then he gets to know all these things about you, and then he puts you through craziness. And I'd watch. If I don't want something done, I wouldn't want to tell him that.
I don't like any of it. It all freaks me out. I don't even
It's
like
crazy.
it's. But I support people going if they want to go, and I support Russ's right to have his business. But I wouldn't do
I
it.
think I think if you're gonna go, don't go for the money. Go because you want to conquer McKamey Manor. Because if you go for the money, you won't make it through. That's the lamest
That might
goal.
that might be the key already. Is everyone's gone just for the money?
That's the lamest goal is to go for the money. Something that can just disappear almost as fast as you get it. You should go because who has said that they has conquered McKamey Manor? Nobody. But you can. You can say that if you beat it, and that's just what is it? 10 hours. You have to spend 10 hours there to beat it. That is such a long time.
I would not. Nope. Nope.
That's a long time.
Wouldn't
I
even do
saw
an
one
hour.
video. He puts you like he puts mud on you, and you're in this saw like locked cage thing over your head.
Yeah, I've seen
And
that one.
yeah, and they're just throwing mud on his face in the locked cage, and just hard to breathe, like you're being buried alive. Crazy.
Nope, not for me.
It's just so nuts. I, I I think what's interesting too is seeing how the people are after. And what they do in that secret group is a lot of the people do follow ups and stuff like that. And the day after or a few days after, whatever, they go live and communicate with the supporters and stuff like that, which is cool. And
Yeah, the engagement's really cool. I mean, that's you can't hate on that. That's pretty cool.
yeah, it's a big family. It's a big community, just like any other thing that you come across. And I, I'm not a part of it in any way, shape, or form at all. I don't know anybody personally or anything like that. But it just I'm oddly obsessed with it, and I'm weirdly fascinated by the videos. Being a videographer, it it intrigues me. The movies that he makes and the editing that he does. And something that I look at when I'm watching movies or clips on YouTube, things like that are well put together. I look at all the details of not only the storyline and stuff like that, but just the editing and everything like that. And from what I gather, Russ does it all himself. So it really is really interesting to see Russ put all of these movies together on his own. It's really good quality work, and I'm impressed by it. I'm not I'm not so much impressed by pulling people's teeth out, shaving their head, and doing all that craziness. Like here it says participant fully understands and agrees that it is possible that joints, jaw, shoulder, elbow, wrist, knee, hip, etc. may be accidentally dislocated and that participant will not hold MM responsible.
Yeah, there's a bunch
Now,
of those.
yeah, I watched a video though recently of this man who dislocated his shoulder. He said he's someone who does crazy stunts, the craziest stunts you've ever seen. And he said that dislocating his shoulder is the worst pain he's ever felt. So I was just like, it kind of like reading the waiver, whether it's like a true waiver or not, it's practically what is on it. It's you're signing away everything that's on here. You're pretty much signing away that you could potentially die. And this one says that participant fully understands and agrees that if they are selected to visit the dentist, that they may have a tooth extracted without Novocaine and will not hold MM liable. That's scary too.
Yeah, it's terrible.
It's crazy to me that you said you'd work there.
Yeah, but I was like, I want to be the guy that like fills the mud pit up and then
You're
like
such a dork
paints
for
the
that.
manor, I want to know all that stuff.
Oh, that is funny. That's interesting though. Or like maybe the guy that brings, you know, the buckets of water. You just want to be like helping with the props. I would be the person that just wants to be like in the haunt that's not maybe one-on-one and like just dressed up scary and be that boo scare you like and just accidentally get socked in the face.
Yeah, I don't need to be that close. Can I be the guy with the hose filling up the mud pit like that, or buckets, like you said? I'm cool with that.
That's funny. I want to read some comments that were on McKamey Manor's YouTube, and I want to talk about them. This one says McKamey Manor is pretty horrific. If you do some research about it, you can request to go to McKamey Manor, but ultimately Russ chooses who can come through the haunt. He talks extensively to the potential client, and many believe that he grooms them during this process. Something that I was explaining, but I didn't say grooming. I said, befriending. I didn't think of it as grooming, but if you see Russ in that way, I guess you could say that. But I see just Russ wanting to do the most best haunt he could do, the most best
Well, I
experience.
think grooming is such a loaded word now. Like people associate that immediately with like sexual grooming, and like grooming really could be like for a whole array of different things because you groom.
I don't relate it with the sexual thing, which I get. I relate it with him wanting this information in order to getting information for a reason. Okay, that is grooming. You're getting all this information because you have a goal in order for you, after you have all of this information. That's what I think grooming is. Because sexual predators, they groom to the point where they have a child in the palm of their hands. They can do anything with them, right? I'll give you this and you do this for me. Like, that's sexual grooming, and also there's other things that go into it, but I'm just talking about like the worst case scenarios. And with this, I get it, grooming in order to like befriend them. But a groomer, I don't think would have you be a long life friend. A groomer wouldn't take you on and let you stay in their home and not expect anything from you. And that's what Russ has done with a lot of these people. He's even liked people so much that he asked them to come work for
Sounds
him.
like Saw. It's like Jigsaw and that girl that like flips.
So-
Some weird.
But I just don't think he like has ill intentions. I think he just loves horror. He loves haunts, and he wanted to do something different and crazy, and he did.
Yeah, I really don't think it's. I mean, people could describe it as malicious, but I don't think he's like. I don't think he's an evil guy. I think he's into a taboo subject that some people just really can't handle at all. And I think if you want to do it, he's the guy to go do it with. I mean, there's really no other experience on the planet besides, going through the next level, which would be, actual torture, not being able to leave, not being able to quit, things like that. Because you're, I don't, if someone does die at that place, it's going to be something like a heart attack, seizure, something like that. It's not going to be like because Russ was killing you or something like that.
Right. Another comment is interesting info on Mr. Russ Mckamey that I have discovered that could explain a lot of things as to why he is so unstoppable and can't be touched. Read and draw your own conclusions, folks. Yep, definitely a video coming soon. It would appear he is known by the Senate and Congress, which would explain some things. Not trying to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but anyone with any level of intelligence should be able to put the pieces together. This may go deeper than people realize. His methods and such in his haunts and how his and how he spelled something wrong, and how it's financed, people should find this disturbing if they know anything about Mr. Teddy Bear Russ.
This is the thing. This is like all conspiracy theories things. Okay, we're forgetting the fact this guy had a 20-year career in the Navy. You really think this guy doesn't have connections to politicians in some way?
I'm not
Like,
forgetting.
no. I'm just saying, like in general, people like these type of.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. I was just
It's
giving
just
you
like,
shit.
okay, yeah, it could be that, or it could just be he was in the Navy and he happens to be an older guy, and people that he knew while in his career are now politicians. I mean, it's not unfeasible at all. There's so many levels of politicians, not to mention members of the House and stuff like that. That doesn't scream to me weird. Like it just
No. No. That comment just stood out to me because there was many like it about conspiracy theories and stuff like that. And so I just wanted to talk about it, but I totally agree with you 100%.
I mean,
It's
we live in a generation where people are just dying, and this is such a. I mean, he loves it too. I mean, yeah, run with the conspiracy theory stuff. Like he's gonna eat that up. He'll never say it, but if you want to believe that, go for it. Yeah, we're
yeah,
connected.
he's got like thousands and thousands and thousands of people waiting to go through his haunt. I mean, like what, 10,000? 10 to 17,000 I read. That
Wow.
is a lot of people who want to go experience this and see what's up. And that's just,
I would bet the bigger percentage too is people that just want to go for the experience. It's not even for the money. It's because like no one's even come close at this point.
yeah, that's what I would do. I'd want to say I beat it and money gets also deducted as you go through. You start out with 20K. If you cuss, he doesn't like cussing, so if you cuss, deducts money, and if you fail, um, like you want to quit and stuff like that, deducts money. There's a lot of multiple other things that will make it to where it'll deduct money, but you start with 20K and you go through and you have to do the 10 hours, I'm pretty sure. And then if you end up, whatever you end up with is what you end up with. But I would want to end up with just doing it. I just want to say, yeah. And there's also what I gathered, your clock doesn't start until a certain point. And so like in the beginning, your clock doesn't even start yet. You have to like do certain things and go through certain things until your clock starts.
Oh, interesting. So it's like almost like a pre-test.
Yeah. Can you handle it? Can you handle going into McCamey Manor? Like you haven't even been there yet, kind of thing. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's a whole nother level. I don't know. I'd like to see what other ones in the comment sections have to say about stuff. Because
I'm very intrigued and interested, and if anyone's listening to this, and if you've been through, and if you would like to come on the Betrayed and talk about your experience, we would love to have you on. It would be nothing negative or anything like that. We wouldn't talk bad about Russ or try to fish anything. We'll just want to ask you some basic questions and just kind of pick your brain about your experience in general.
yeah, I would love to talk to someone who's been through it, and I mean, maybe they're not even allowed to talk about certain things. There might be non-disclosure agreements and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm not sure how all that works, but uh, they go if nobody reaches out to come on here, and if you want to hear more, definitely, like I said, go to their secret group on Facebook and check out their YouTube. We'll link everything in the description below. But if you guys are able to talk about it, we would love to have you on. Our Instagram is in the link below, or comment on our YouTube, or find our personal Facebooks through our Instagrams and stuff like that. I think that does it for this episode. I just really wanted to touch on McCamey Manor because I'm so oddly obsessed, and I want to do a few different parts of this as new information comes out.
It's a good story. It's very, very interesting. I'm glad we got to talk about it because you were pushing. I was like, oh, I can't watch this, but then I just got a little bit obsessed with it too.
Yeah, it's scary. It's definitely scary. Russ, yeah, good
Y-
job.
Good job, man.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for commenting and leaving reviews on our Apple podcast. We really appreciate we really appreciate it. All of our links will be in the description below. And thank you for the feedback. Thank you for everything. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Banana Cats.
Much love, Banana Cats. Peace.